I know it's kind of dark in here. The lighting isn't super great, and it's hitting winter, so it's dark out already. But what I'm going to show you today, and I appreciate you stopping by, is I've got this 1955 Alice, and it starts, but doesn't start real well, and it's not really a tune-up issue. It's a simple issue, and it's a mistake that a lot of people make, and I've seen a lot of these old tractors with 6 volts set up this way, and I think that we can work this through together, and I'll show you how to make this problem go away, and hopefully this will help you with your tractor. So I'll only run this for a second because I'm inside, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. First thing you want to do is make sure it's in neutral so you don't run yourself over. Switch on, choke on, and then we're going to pull. So it was going to start, but I shut it off. You can see how it rolled over real slow. There's nothing wrong with that battery. The battery's fine, and the tractor's tuned up. So I'm going to show you this one trick real quick. It'll help you maybe with your tractor. I've already given it away because you probably saw these cables sitting here on the tire. So when I got this tractor, I looked at it, and it's just got these little dinky wires on the battery. And with 6 volt, when you've got low voltage, you need a bigger pipe, so you have high current. You don't. With a 12 volt, it's lower current with high voltage, so you can use smaller cables like these, but these are not for this tractor. What you need is something like this. And I've gone through so many tractors, I got sick of buying these, so I just bought all the cable, and I make my own cables now to length, and it seems to have worked out pretty well. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Doesn't matter which cable you start with, as long as everything's unhooked from the battery. I'm going to start. Positive ground, 6 volts. You can see this little dinky cable here, and you know, good for them for buying a new cable to put on there. But it's not right. I've seen this so many times. I've gotten so many old tractors like this, and I've had a lot of people come up to me and tell me that they didn't know this. So when you buy battery cables for these old tractors, if you're not going to make it, you better have to get it from a tractor parts place like, I don't know, Steiner or something, or Yesterday's Tractors or whatever. And they have the right cables for the tractors. But if you just go to Napa and go, that cable looks right, or Track Supply and go, that cable looks right, you're probably not going to get the right cable. And probably just as likely when you got the tractor, it didn't have the right cables on it anyway. So taking a look at this, you can see there's a lot of corrosion in behind there. That doesn't help either. Every little bit of corrosion and rust is an inhibitor, creates more resistance, makes it harder for the current to get through, makes it harder for your tractor to start, and it also heats up your cables, which you don't want that either. So nothing wrong with this cable. We can use that on a lawnmower or something. Put that off to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the cable, and I'm going to show you how we terminate that, and then we'll hook it up. You see how big that wire is? That's 1/0, and you could actually get away with 0.0, but I wouldn't go any smaller than 1/0. And so you want it to be long enough so you can have a little bit of a loop. You don't want it banjo string tight. You want to be able to move it a little bit. But the other battery cable was probably just about the right size, at about this long, so right about there would be good. So to build this, you need a few things. These are the terminal ends that are going to go. These would go like a switch to starter on a Ford or whatever, but this is the side you're going to put the bolt through. And then you need the battery terminal on the other side. So the first thing we'll do is we'll do the small end first. All we really want to do is just cut the jacket off. I don't want to cut the conductors, obviously. Looks like a Twizzler, but a little bit more chewy. So what I want, you can see there's a top to that, and I want it to kind of sit in there as best I can, up flush with the edge. And I'm pretty close, just a little bit more. And I have this tool here. So what we do now is we put that in. There's a bunch of different kinds of crimpers you can get, but I like this one because it's hydraulic, and you can see it's got a die in there, and there's 2 of them actually, so they fit in, and then it will crimp this uniformly around that metal, and then we'll get a good crimp on it. It helps if you don't do it on a tractor tire, because what you want to do is make sure you don't have any shiner or any copper showing through. So basically it's done when the 2 dies connect, and it's as good as a factory crimp, I think. You know, pretty good. So the next thing we do is we put this little piece of heat shrink on it, like that, and then we'll heat that up. I'm sure some people watch this for 25 seconds until they figured out what I was telling them, and then they're gone. But for those of you who are left, we're going to finish making battery cables, and we'll try it. I mean, I'll obviously speed through some of the parts that kind of dragging. Appreciate you sticking around. So when you make these, I mean, the heat shrink's only going to do just so much. What you don't want is some kind of sloppy connector where you've crimped and then you got 1/2 inch of shiner in between. That's garbage. That's not what you want. So this looks like a good factory crimp and connection there. Now we'll do the other side, but we'll put a battery terminal on it. What you do have to do though is this stuff is called no-wax. What no-wax is it's basically a medium that you put on the metals, because if you have 2 dissimilar metals going together, they tend to rot. So we don't want that. You don't have to like paint it like you paint a house, but you just need to get some on there. Some people will take this stuff and twist it in there like they're dipping an ice cream cone, but basically you just need a film over it to get the job done. So then once I've got this out, we just kind of twist this in, and you'll get most of the fibers in there. Get that good and tight like that, and there's really no need to put heat shrink on this end because there's nothing to heat shrink to. So I just tighten this up because there's a nut on this side, so we're just tightening that down real quick. So when you tighten these up, that you do both sides kind of at the same time, if you know, like alternating. Otherwise, you'll get a weird wonky end on there. We don't want that. The dielectric grease and no-ox, they have similar properties. One will kind of work for the other. But dielectric grease really keeps the water out more than anything. So what I usually do with these is, you can see the stud here, somebody put through, and you can see how rusty that is. And what that does is that goes through the steering column or the steering mount, and you can see all kinds of reasons here why you might have problems starting this tractor, because look at that bolt, it's all rotted, and the edges where it goes in is rotted, so you're not getting a good electrical connection. So what you really want to do with this is throw that bolt out and use a stainless bolt. So I'll grab a stainless bolt. And people don't know what they don't know, right? Until somebody shows them. So this corroded, probably a zinc bolt is going to get thrown out, and I got a stainless bolt here. It's going to replace it. I've gone ahead and shined up those holes where the bolt goes through. And what I want to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of no-ox on the connection, and then we seal the rest of it with dielectric grease. A lot of times people will paint their tractor and get it all shined up and it's all pretty, and then they go to hit the switch and nothing. And they've got really bad grounds. They've got paint where it should be shiny, and then they shine it up and they don't do anything to protect the metal, so the metal oxidizes and you get troubles again. But electrical continuity is your friend. I'll put the bolt through. And then I've got this guy, which I'm going to put some dielectric grease on that underneath there. Talking to myself, no-ox. They're conducive to electricity. They conduct electricity. You might have seen when I put this on, I put it on. You see I got the twist here? That's on purpose because of the way this has to sit. If I'd have made them both the same, I'd have to twist the wire, which is fine, but it doesn't make it work out so great. And the thing is too, when you got this heavier gauge wire, it makes it a little bit harder to make your turns. Ideally, when you make this, you'd want this to go through here, but wire, it's not going to go through there very well. So then we'll put the rest of our stainless on there. It takes a while to get your shop set up if you're restoring old tractors. If you're doing your first one, you might find yourself going to the hardware store every other day. Eventually, you figure out what you need and you stock up on it. Just seems to work out better that way. So this next one's going to be a little bit more challenging because it's quite a bit longer. And you can see there's nothing wrong with it. Structurally it's fine, but too small. The diameter of it is not going to work. So this one fishes through the little toolbox and into the thing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to make the terminal and I'm going to connect it, and then I'll be back and we'll start the tractor up. I'm not going to waste your time building two of these with you now that you know how to do it. And like I said, if you're still watching, I appreciate you hanging out. You didn't just, as soon as you heard the answer to the pop question, you didn't take off on me. So one more thing, make sure whatever lugs you use, you go test them on the end that you're going to be plugging into, because you don't want to build this whole cable, right? And then stuff it all the way through there only to find out that you used the lug that was too small. You want to use the right size lug. So go test fit the lug on the end before you go ahead and waste all your time crimping this down. All right, I finished what I said I was going to. Everything's all buttoned up. I have the terrible habit of finger tightening stuff and then saying I'll come back to it when I'm sure I have it the way I want it, and then I forget. So as you can see, fixing the battery cables and shining everything up and fixing your grounds has a big impact on how quickly your tractor will start. Appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you next time.